Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, Impala, you know the deal.
Yep.
You're gonna have to be handcuffed.
Yep.
I got the cuffs on him.
Sounds good. Follow me.
Yep.
Godspeed.
Thanks.
Where's this guy? Oh.
Alright, Impala, move up.
And please do not talk to the captain.
Again? What?
Do not talk to the captain. Just move to where you're supposed to be.
Roger that.
Please seat him at the front as well.
Yes, sir.
Corporal Anders, you'll be maintaining watch over him directly in the room. And has he got secure handcuffs and whatnot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Sergeant Bodie,
Yes, sir.
as you are an impartial individual who's not really had much involvement in this, I'm going to make an exception to the rules today, and you are on the panel with me.
Sounds
You will
good.
be having a say on the outcome. Don't talk to the suspect or anything like that, just because it can affect your impartiality.
Understood. I like the setup here.
I can't see shit, bro. What's happening? Oh my god. Okay, hang on. I'm actually still loaded in. Hang on. Sergeant Bodie.
Yes, sir. How can I help you?
It's been a while. Where you been?
I saw you just the other day.
You son of a bitch.
True. I suppose you're all caught up on what's been happening the past few days.
Sorry.
Unfortunately so, yes. I am caught up. And I do not like what I hear.
Yeah, well, that makes two of us. It's been an eventful couple of days.
Okay.
Right. We're just waiting on, hopefully, Lieutenant's not going to be too long. I know he said he's going to be a bit late. Oh, he's here. Great, because he'll be on the panel
He's
with
there.
us too, Sergeant. Brilliant.
Copy that.
So we'll actually get a proper vote on, and therefore the outcome will be impartial, which
Alright,
is good.
that's wonderful. 3
It
people.
will. It's actually good. We're going to have like a proper fair trial today, which is good.
It'll be a lot different to the last trial that got held.
Yeah, well, if we were able to actually speak to the captain, then we'll probably be able to uphold a lot of the claims. But unfortunately, he's dead. Therefore, we can't get any information out of him.
I know, sir, but I'm
So
working on a way of seeing to sorting something out, hopefully.
Just do me a favour, because you're a witness. Don't talk to us any further at the moment. Just go and take a seat. Corporals, make sure Private Smith does not engage in conversation with the Private Impala, please. Right, Lieutenant, come here, please.
Don't have to tell me twice, boys.
So, listen, you are a witness in this as well, but you're also going to be on the panel, right? Sergeant Bodie here is also on the. So between the three of us, we'll discuss the outcome of the trial. Okay.
Got it.
So please, and then if you want to ask any additional questions or review any additional evidence, that's completely fine. Just follow my lead, and then at the end of that, we'll go down to the office, discuss what we are going to do, and then pass judgment.
Got it. Sergeant, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Gentlemen.
I think
Sir?
Lieutenant?
I think we can actually start the proceedings, to be honest. So,
Watch out, I think he's been pressing the button with his face to turn that back on.
okay. So just make sure that he's fully restrained. So, court martial is now in session. Please rise. Okay. So, I am Captain Brian McGowan, Commanding Officer of the 51st Division. I'm here at the moment, temporarily filling in to assist Lieutenant Cooper here with the current situation. Today we have the trial of Private Impala. I'm just pulling up the information. So Private Impala has served here at the 76th Division for some time now. Successfully completed boot camp. Has had a pretty decent report. No previous disciplinary hearings or misconduct. Today he is here charged with 2 counts of murder and treason. The maximum penalty for these charges are death. I need to make it perfectly clear right now that if the suspect is found guilty, then there is no way, there's no punishment that would allow the suspect to remain within this man's army. Either way, if he is found guilty, he will unfortunately be losing his place as a member of this army. So I just need to firstly put that out there to make that clear. I'm going to set some ground rules. First of all, you can take a seat.
Roger that.
Corporal Landers, you're also free to take a seat. Corporal Lonesome, if you just want to remain on guard duty there. So, first of all, I'm going to set out the ground rules. So, at no point should anyone, without any good reason, interrupt these proceedings. If you do, then you will be punished for that and held potentially for contempt of court. So it's absolutely important that you do not interrupt these proceedings. So the only person here who should interrupt any proceedings would be myself or Corporal Lonesome if there's a security risk or issue. Additionally, we ask that you, Private Impala, as the suspect, do not engage or speak with any individual here unless spoken to, and we ask that any individual, particularly witnesses, which is pretty much all of you except Sergeant Bodie here, speak with Private Impala unless it's unless given permission to do so. So that's the first thing I need to make clear. In addition to that, I think we've got everything there. So what we'll do is we will go ahead and sort of present the case. I'm going to ask Lieutenant Cooper to present the case to explain exactly why the private has been charged and what crimes he's committed, to explain the crimes he's committed. Lieutenant Cooper, do you want to go ahead and do that for me?
Yes, Private Impala is here under accusation of 2 murders and treason.
Okay. Do you want to explain the events?
He is charged with the murder of Captain Garrison. It was a very impulsive action. All of a sudden, all hell broke loose. He shot and killed the captain, and Private Geralt was collateral damage in this incident.
Okay.
He was unfortunately mortally wounded and died of his wounds later in medbay.
Okay. So, before we go ahead and discuss the evidence and examine the evidence and the events, Private Impala, please stand.
Yes, sir.
At this point, you'll be given the opportunity to enter a plea. Do you plead guilty or not guilty to the charge? And I'll ask you for each charge. So, first of all, to the first count of murder, which is the murder of Captain Garrison, do you plead guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
And to the murder of Private Gerald, do you plead guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Okay. And to the charge of treason, do you plead guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Thank you, Private Impala. If you would like to take a seat. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the witnesses, and then once we've spoken to each witness and they've given their account of the events, then we'll have the chance to ask questions, and then we've got a holotape recording which we're going to play today as well, so that we can listen to that. So first of all, the first witness I'm going to call is I'm going to call you, Lieutenant. Okay, Sergeant Bodie, if you wish to ask any questions as well, you can. It's really important to do so if you think it's necessary. So, Lieutenant, do you want to just step in front of the desk for me, please?
Of course.
So, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, and the whole truth?
I do.
Okay. So, can you just tell me, first of all, were you aware of any issues between Private Impala and the deceased parties before the events took place?
No, not between the individuals involved, no. I was not aware of any issues.
Okay. What happened prior to the events occurring? What was exactly going on here?
God, I'm gonna think a little bit here. I know we were all here. At one point, Private Impala started yelling that Captain Garrison was, God, I can't remember his exact words, but yeah, he disagreed pretty intensely, and all of a sudden opened fire on him.
Okay, so just to be clear, did you say that Private Impala opened fire first or Captain Garrison opened fire first?
Impala fired first, from what I've witnessed.
Okay. So there was nothing specific as to what that happened. Nothing else prior to that happening.
I've only heard rumors up until that point, sir.
Okay. So how did Captain Garrison respond to the accusations that the private was making then?
Honestly, I can't exactly remember, Captain. It's a little blurry at the moment.
Okay, that's fine. What happened once Captain Garrison was shot? Sorry, I've got one question before that. Did the captain return fire?
I don't think he did.
Okay. What happened once the captain was shot then?
He fell to the floor, right there at the computer desk. I believe Private Geralt caught a couple of rounds in the whole happening, and we arrested Private Impala and locked him up.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you. I would have asked you if you think Private Impala shooting Private Gerald was intentional, as he's already pled guilty to the trial. I'm not going to proceed with that question. Do you have any other information that you think will help this trial?
I have a couple of witness testimonies that would help Private Impala's case that Captain Garrison had alternative motives.
Okay.
His role.
Any of those witnesses here today?
Yes, they both are. Would you like me to name them, or is that for later
Yes, please.
words? That would
No,
be
that's fine.
Yes?
Yeah, go ahead.
That will be Private Smith sitting to the right of me, and Sergeant Bodie standing to the left of you, Captain.
Okay. So, did you say Private Impala to the left of you, Sergeant Bodie? Sergeant Bodie?
I can
Right, you said
give
Private
the
Smith.
weapons.
I said Private Smith to the right of me.
I'm Private Impala.
I've only seen the holotape that he recorded.
Okay. Right, that's fine. So just Private Smith's the only witness testimony you've got, right?
Smith and Bodie, sir.
Smith and Bodie. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Right, thank you, Lieutenant. Sergeant Bodie, do you have any questions for the Lieutenant?
Lieutenant, so these happenings were while I was not on base. And there was a reason that I was not on base. It seems that, well, I was left a note and I had to go out to Camp McClintock at the time. And it might be somebody from the interior essentially setting this whole thing up. So I won't get into that. However, can you explain to me any of the prior happenings right before this took place?
Mm-hmm.
Those were mostly in the testimonies I have from both you and Private Smith. I was mostly absent for most of the issues happening.
Okay.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, you can take a seat. Sergeant Bodie will proceed with you then to deliver this witness testimony. If you want to go in front of the desk, please. Lieutenant, you'll stand up here with me. So, Lieutenant, again, similar thing. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions too. So, Sergeant Bodie, were you present during the events that took place the other night?
I was not present during the events.
Okay. Were you aware of any issues between Private Impala and Captain Garrison?
I did have issues with Captain Garrison, however...
Hold on, Sergeant, just so we're clear on the questions at the moment, the question I asked you was, were you aware of any issues between Private Impala and Captain Garrison?
As I have not met Private Impala until today...
It's a yes or no, Sergeant, it's a yes or no question.
It's a no, sir.
Answer. Okay, thank you. So, were you aware, did you have concerns regarding Captain Garrison?
Yes, I did have concerns regarding Captain Garrison.
Okay. Do you want to explain, do you want to elaborate those concerns? Please try and also, just for everyone, we need to stick to facts in this court, okay? So, just try and stick to facts, okay? Be clear with the information.
Okay, well, a fact is that during patrols regularly, we would see the captain get a little bit aggressive with the locals in the area. which to me was a large red flag. That is fact.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell us how he was getting aggressive with them?
At certain points, he would straight up just kill them, tell us all to engage. Obviously, we would all hold back, and well, we would try to hold back, and he would set the precedent and go ahead murdering people, in my opinion, murdering them. However, yes, that is fact that there are many people in Appalachia who are dead because of the captain.
Let me just be clear then. Let me just be clear. I need to be clear, Sergeant. So what you're saying is, so just to be clear, you have witnessed the captain execute unarmed civilians.
Correct.
Okay. And how come? Did you report any of these concerns, any of these crimes?
The most I could do was just talk to my comrades at the time. Was the private over here, Private Smith. The lieutenant wasn't around yet. So yes, Private Smith is the only person who can back me up on this.
Did you not speak to any other superior ranks?
Unfortunately, I could not. The state of the base seemed very aggressive towards going over somebody else's head. You cannot
Okay.
bounce up the ranks.
Okay, thank you, Sergeant. Now, I am going to just take this moment to just advise everyone, I probably should have done this before, that if you do give evidence, you potentially are incriminating yourself as well. I'm not saying don't, I want you to give evidence, just be mindful of what you tell me in certain detail, because you could incriminate yourself too. But I just want to put that out there, but I'm not saying at all don't give the evidence. I want you to give the evidence, just be mindful of incriminating yourself. If there is war crimes that have took place, and if people have been involved in that, then individuals could be held to account as a result of this trial. Sergeant, did you attempt to write or contact HQ at all regarding these concerns?
I believe I did, if I can pull up my logs here. I do
Where's
believe
he pulling his logs from? What? Sorry, carry on.
I do believe I did. This is after the passing of Sergeant Zeke. Rest in peace. However, right after the passing of Sergeant Zeke, there was a falling out at the base in which I was imprisoned, and I was also in the same cell as Private Smith over here, who was at the time hopped up on different meds that he was forcefully given. And
Why were you arrested?
I was arrested because I was not on base when all of this was taking place.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add? Any other further evidence to provide?
Non-factual, sir. I cannot.
Do you have any concerns regarding Private Gerald?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you. You can return to the table. Oh no, sorry, Lieutenant. Do you want to ask any questions? Go ahead.
Well, I don't necessarily have a question, but concerning the concern of Private Gerald, I do have some, if I may express those.
Right. Hold on. We need to. Right.
I think they're actually on the
Right.
holotape too, sir.
After. Okay, Sergeant, you can return to the table. Thank you.
Thank you.
Private Smith,
Yes,
please come forward to the table. Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth? The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
But not the whole truth.
And the whole truth.
That's fine. Right, okay. I'm just going to proceed then with the questions. So, Private Smith, firstly, tell me, were you present during the events that took place recently?
I was present during the killing of Captain Garrison and Private Gerald, yes.
Okay. I want to just remind everyone before we go ahead with this that the Private Impala is on trial right now. I know that there's accusations coming out about Captain Garrison, and I'm sure that's going to be helpful for the inquiry that's being conducted by HQ. However, the only person that is on trial, unfortunately, today will be Private Impala because Captain Garrison is dead. So we can't exactly put him on trial right now. So, as much as I appreciate all the testimony that is coming forward, just be mindful that, you know, there's only so far that will go at this point, okay? So, Private Smith, what exactly... Corporal Lonesome, would you get the door, think...
Yes, sir.
Oh no, it's okay, it's a recruit, it's just a recruit, just leave him. The court's in process, so the doors are closed at the moment, but of course the recruit can watch through the windows. Private Smith, what actually happened when these events took place? So tell me exactly what happened from the moment you were in this room.
Well, from the moment we enter the room and prepare for debriefing, I had been slightly late walking into the room due to a little malfunction with my backpack. Some things had fallen out, and so I went to retrieve them. I walked into the briefing room late, to which Captain Garrison, the others were sat down. Captain Garrison picked me up on this, called me over to, I believe, where I was standing now. He made me to do, I can't remember how many I was made to do push-ups, and he insulted me rather harshly in front of the rest of the privates. At which point, Private Impala seemed to become upset, or Private Impala, seeing this, stood up and started shouting at Captain Garrison, accusing him of manipulating certain facts about what had happened earlier between Private Gerald and the incident regarding the Brotherhood of Steel. The captain, I believe, called for his arrest, or at least called for him to sit down or be subdued, at which point Private Impala pulled a weapon. Although I'm not entirely sure who is, I believe Private Gerald also pulled a gun. And the captain was fired upon. Private Gerald was also caught in the crossfire, and well, here we are today. The Impala had guns pointed at him by everyone in the room, including myself. He stood down and was taken down to the holding cell.
What did he say once the captain was gunned down?
Once the captain was gunned down, I think he said something along the lines of, I mean, really just repeating the accusations he had been shouting about whilst the captain was alive, about him tampering with the incident, and I believe calling him a liar and so on and so forth. Words to that effect.
Okay. And what about what about Private Gerald? Did he make any remarks towards Private Gerald after the incident was?
Well, Private Gerald was killed. I mean, he was.
But did he
sorry,
make
in
any
mortal
remarks
condition.
about him? Did he make any remarks about him?
No. I don't believe any remarks were made directly about Private Gerald.
So he didn't express any remorse or anything like that towards his death?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Alright, and Private Smith, can you just tell me exactly, I want a full testimony here now of what, you know, is supposedly being happening under the captain. So just Start from the beginning.
Well, I mean, if we're going right back to the beginning, since myself, Sergeant Zeke, Private Corporal Lonesome, and a few others were transferred to the 76th, we were initially greeted with open arms, I suppose. Garrison made it clear that whilst he would be strict, a lot stricter than the regime under the 51st, that he was clear that as long as we were able to make him look good and we were able to make the division look good, then we would get along amicably. However, this soon fell apart as... Oh, are you... Well, upon myself and a few other members of the 51st being transferred to the 76th, Captain Garrison made it clear that whilst he would be strict, perhaps stricter than leadership in the 51st, he believed if we could make him look good and the division look good, then we would get on amicably. However, this soon fell apart as myself, Sergeant Zeke, Sergeant Bodie, and a few others noticed the captain acting increasingly barbarically and exhibiting behavior that was unlike a commanding officer. For instance, aggression and threats towards settlers and civilians, as well as I mean that's the main one at that point. Following this, Sergeant Zeke took himself off base as he had received a tip, and unfortunately I'm not aware how he found this information, that he had that in Charleston, where he had gone, there was some form of evidence that would incriminate Garrison, or perhaps give better insight into what his motives were regarding his strange behavior. Whilst Sergeant Zeke was away, I was placed under arrest, and I believe Sergeant Bodie was also placed under arrest. Am I able to get into what happened whilst under... Shall I just tell the whole story, or are we sort of skimming over details here?
Yes, tell the whole story.
Fine. Well, I wasn't arrested immediately on Sergeant Zeke's disappearance. I was lured back into, I believe you know, the office downstairs, which was Private Garrison's office. From there, I was spiked with I'm not sure what drugs. I was spiked, and this combined with the buff out that I was already prescribed for my arm in inappropriate amounts caused me to become... I was imprisoned due to that on charges of illicit chems usage. Sergeant Bodie was also brought in, I believe, for fear of him conspiring with Sergeant Zeke. Corporal Walker was sent out to confront Sergeant Zeke, which he did successfully, killing the sergeant. I was charged...
Are you saying the corporal went out alone to kill Sergeant Zeke?
I'm saying that Corporal Walker, under Captain Garrison's orders, I mean at this point Sergeant Zeke was branded a traitor by the command of the 76th. Corporal Walker, on his own, was sent out to...
Are you saying that he killed Sergeant Zeke?
I am indeed saying he killed Sergeant Zeke. None of us have any account of what happened apart from Corporal Walker himself. All we know that he went out to encounter the sergeant, and the sergeant was killed during the encounter. Well, after this, I was trialed under the claims of illicit chems usage and other claims which I personally believe, or other claims that were fabricated. At this point, with myself demoted and shamed in front of the rest of our men, and Sergeant Bodie largely being sent away on duty with camp. Garrison essentially, I believe Garrison felt it was appropriate to ramp up his inappropriate behavior. He issued physical beatings to multiple, I'm getting ahead of myself. On multiple occasions, he took himself and he would... Sorry, I'm getting...
Take your time, Private.
Okay, fine. Sorry, just let me... So after my successful charging and Sergeant Bodie being sent largely away to camp,
I just needed to know the whole story, Private.
fine. Well, at this point, what else can I say? I can say that there was another instance in which the captain falsified some evidence against myself by spiking me once again with, I believe, buff out in order to falsify another illicit chems charge, which I believe is still outstanding. Lieutenant Cooper collected an empty syringe from his desk. The captain was verbally and sometimes even physically abusive to multiple members of the army. I've witnessed him physically beating, I believe, Private Impala. On multiple times, he ordered the beating or himself beat me in an attempt to force me to transfer out of the 76th, and the sort of the physical abuse was more of a general I don't know what to say, a general atmosphere that was created. Well, regarding the captain's ulterior motives, the main evidence I'd like to bring was that I can testify that I witnessed himself and Corporal Walker conspiring to harm Governor Shelby.
What exactly was said in that instance?
I mean, I'll lay out the plan in full as I heard it. Assassination. He wanted the governor assassinated.
So you're saying that Captain Garrison wanted the governor dead?
He was laying out a plan to Corporal Walker, which would involve Corporal Walker directly killing the governor.
So Captain Garrison gave Corporal Walker an assignment to kill the governor?
I don't know if it was as formal as a signing, but I believe yes, to those effects, yeah.
So do you have any actual evidence that this was happening?
Evidence-wise, witness testimony is mainly the only evidence I have.
Alright, well that's all the questions that I have. Do either of you fuckers have any questions to ask? Ask away, we don't have all fucking day now. Jesus Christ, one of you fuckers ask something.
I do.
Thank God.
I'd like to know more about the character of Impala over here, as I have not seen him beforehand. I'd like to know your opinion on his character, a trustworthy source.
I was aware, at least on Private Impala's part, of some animosity. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Private Impala, for the most part, has conducted himself, I'd say, fairly standardly.
He's got a gun!
Fairly standardly. I wasn't made aware of any major disciplinary incidents, although I will confirm that Impala has was one of the only people to outwardly call out Captain Garrison, and on occasion, corporals following his direct orders on what they were doing wrong. He was perhaps more forward about that than myself or anyone else was.
Well, Lieutenant Cooper, do you have any questions? Any more questions, Sergeant Bodie? Any more? No more questions? No more fucking questions? Alright, well then, Corporal Lonesome, get your ass up here. That's right. You can do it. Come on. Get up here. Get up here.
Yes, sir.
Alright, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I fucked that up, huh?
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Were you present during the shooting?
Yes, I was, sir.
Alright, tell us your version of the events.
From by what I've seen, it looked like that the private here was finally had enough of Captain Garrison and the atrocities he was committing.
Just lay down the events exactly as they happen.
Out of a spite of rage, he fired upon Captain Garrison, and Captain Garrison, in fact, fired back. After the death of Captain Garrison and the accidental crossfire, the private here peacefully allowed himself to be contained and arrested without issue.
Alright, so do either you two have any questions for the corporal?
I do not.
Corporal Anders, get your beautiful ass up here. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Were you present during these events? Yes, sir. Just go through the events that you were there for. So, what I saw was as Private Smith was doing his push-ups, Private Impala stood up and began shouting that Captain Garrison was telling Private Gerald to lie to Lieutenant Cooper about the events that happened with the Brotherhood. And as he was yelling at them, the captain ordered Private to detain Impala, and after that happened, there was an exchange of fire between the three soldiers. Do you remember if they all fired their weapons during this event or not? I don't know if they all fired, but I do know that Impala and Captain Garrison definitely did. So then, why didn't you do anything to try and stop Private Impala here? It happened so fast. There was just a ton of confusion. Alright, well, do either you two have any questions for the corporal here?
At this moment, I do not have questions for Corporal Anders.
So did you have trouble detaining the private after this? No, he surrendered quite peacefully after it happened. What is it that you think led up to these events? Before our mission began, I was there to witness him, Captain order Corporal Walker to beat on Impala. Why do you think that the captain instructed the corporal to beat up the private here. Uh, I think he felt that Impala here was getting a little mouthy, sir. All right, Corporal, you may take a seat. Alright, guys, this is Beef Junk here. I'm pretty sure that both of these individuals had their audio share turned off, so I'm not going to be able to make any guesses as to what they're saying. If I remember correctly, Captain is giving Private, telling him what he is about to do with him.
Wow.
You got
I love the
some
fucking.
trouble,
I love
buddy.
the really shitty fucking cardboard in the windows. I can literally see the the entire back of. I can see Impala perfectly. I think if I squint, I can see. Wait, Lonesome, come to the. Oh, I can see you now. Take me down to Funky Town. Take me down to. Let's turn the fucking jukebox on, guys. Come on.
I think you'll be. I think you'll be fine. I kind of got you. Shh, don't tell nobody. I kind of got you.
I'm waiting for that 25 to come back. Little 25 fucking sits in the corner, shoots at me. Fuck that kid.
That's fucked, man.
Hey, maybe it's like a.
Double homicide and treason. Bet you didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Actually, I think it was. To be honest, I think it was decent. Like, I think you played your cards pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, I think you played up to the whole like manipulation thing for the captain like well enough.